So yesterday, New York City, everybody's wondering, is Curtis Sliwa going to be the reason why, Cuomo doesn't win? And you look at the numbers, multiple charts. Mamdani, roughly, you're showing this, Rob, but there's another one to show for that's exact, because this is not the exact one. There's one that you look at where it shows you, without him, if Mamdani was in the race, if he was not in the race, what would have happened? Mamdani wins. Cuomo second, Sliwa third. Cuomo gives a very nice speech. Hey, congratulations to Mamdani. Incredible job campaigning. One of the best campaigns ever put together. The groundwork, he was very complimentary of what he had to say about him. Sliwa was very angry. Sliwa did the Sliwa thing. He went out there and said, if you guys do anything to the streets, we're going to mobilize. We're going to unify. We're going to mobilize. He gave that kind of a message. But at the same time, while everyone was thinking Mamdani could be a unifier, this was a speech that he gave yesterday. This was his victory speech. And when you hear this victory speech, he sings a song. Not Frank Sinatra, not an English song, Born in the USA, not any of that stuff, a very different song. But I want you to watch this. He still maintains a smile, but tell me if he sounds excited, unified, or angry. Go ahead, Rob.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power.
How many people are in that room? What does it sound like?
This is not
couple
only
thousand?
how we stop Trump,
what do you think?
It's how we stop the next one.
Yeah, a couple thousand.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Can you put the clip, Rob, of what he said about Cuomo, where he said, this is the last time I will ever say the Cuomo name again? Listen to this one, folks.
My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name as we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
You can pause it right there. All right, so what are your thoughts on what happened last night with New York City, Barry?
Well, first of all, when you look at the numbers, pretty good chance that he would not have won if, let's just say, it was either Sliwa or Cuomo had backed out. So that's one. So I'm not so sure this is a mandate that New York City totally got behind and wanted. His speech, I think it pretty much speaks for itself. It's not a unifying speech. It's not something that is we're gonna work together. This is a very divisive speech, and I don't think that portends good things when you're being divisive.
Yeah, if you look at this here, Tom, this is the numbers. Mamdani, 50%, 1,006,000 votes. Cuomo, 831,000 votes. Sliwa, 143. If you combine the two together, puts it at 975-ish. So would have lost by 30,000 votes. I don't know what the rest is, if there's a couple other things on the bottom, but some other chart said that there was a chance if Sliwa would have stepped out for Mamdani to win. Having said that, Tom, what do you think about what happened last night? How big of a victory is this? Because I got a lot of thoughts about this, which I'll share here in a minute. But what are you thinking, Tom?
Well, if I just look at the numbers were tightening up over the last 2 weeks. And they were tightening up because finally Andrew Cuomo was running a campaign that was sort of had been a little tone deaf and a little bit stale, I think. As youth have felt the same way. We were calling for him to do it, and he tightened it up. And it was this was supposed to be a 14 to 16 point spread. It's an 8-point spread right now. So this tightened up significantly. So number one, I agree with Barry. This is not a mandate. But number two, what really worries me, listen to his speech. This is authoritarian speech. This is the kind of call and response. It's a dog whistle back to the kind of the Mussolini days and the kind of things that he promised to the people there. Now, he was a terrible, terrible despot, but listen to how he gained power and what he promised to the people. Free this and make the trains run on time. Very famous and all that. And you know what really was alarming to me, and there's a lot of these out there, Rob, I just sent it to you. Look at this, Pat. This is an intern, and this is confirmed. She is an intern, and this is current. So by all sources that we looked at, this is not AI, and this is not something from time gone by. But look at this. This is all jihad. This is all abadah. This is all counted by Allah. How committed I am to this. What am I willing to sacrifice for the noble cause? What they're saying is, she is saying this is the start of holy war and jihad in America. I'm not making that up. That's what she said in her language, her words. And so they say, now listen to Mamdani. He's not there to unify. He's not there to reach across the aisle. He is telling people exactly what they're doing. Dismantle. Turn the page. Listen to the verb words. This is scary. This is the same wave that happened in Minneapolis, outside of the view of so many Americans, and what's happening there. This is heavy, Pat. This is not just about the mayor of New York City and how Cuomo should have started the campaign differently and sooner. This is that people in New York City were realizing it. It was tightening up, but it was too late, and now they got it. And you listen to what they're saying, that they're coming. They're saying we're coming. We're not here to unify with you. We are coming, and there is a higher calling and a jihad, and what we're coming to change you.
We're here to take it down.
Right. And they're being very open. And again, from everything we've been able to find, Rob and I looked, she is the intern. Those were her words, and that was last night.
She said that last night, Rob?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because this came out 15 hours ago.
Let me just hear what she says.
The true believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended, I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, so what? Do what you want. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because it's about time to do that. And I know everybody has their own families and has an education and everything. Just a question. We don't want to get doxxed, and we don't want to get suspended, and we don't want to get arrested.
You can pause that. I have so much to say. Brandon, I'll come to you and I'll give the thoughts, and then we'll move on. Go ahead.
I mean, like, what do we expect? I mean, I'm honestly wondering if the powers that be put Cuomo in place just to put a candidate they knew was going to lose. Because if you want to think of a guy who's universally hated in New York by both Democrats and Republicans, like, who better than Cuomo? It's like when they got Woodrow Wilson elected, they got they put like 3 candidates in the race just so that he would win. He won with like 30% of the margin. So I wonder if this is an intentional attempt to destroy the city, because now they officially let a wolf in the hen house, where this city, as much hate as we give New York a lot of time for the things that we disagree with, it is the pillar of America. It's the biggest GDP. It's 5% of the U.S. GDP. It's the biggest city in the country by a lot. It's like $2 trillion in GDP. The next biggest is $1 trillion. I mean, they already lost $1 trillion of wealth from 2020 to 2023. So this is going to drive job creators out and bring in the worst types of people. So yeah, it's going to look like Gotham City, and I hope that they could survive long enough for people to learn how to actually who to vote for, what kind of policies they should have.
To your point, I agree with you. And to your point, there's a lot of people that would never vote for Cuomo because of what happened during COVID, and they lost people. There's a lot of women that are going to resent Cuomo because of allegations and situations where he was disrespectful, to say the least. So he had a lot of the deck stacked against him from voters that he would normally need. So I agree with you. Why run somebody like that who doesn't really have support that's needed to win this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I would say? Here's what I would say. Now, I want to watch a couple of these clips, Van Jones. And remember, guys, Wednesdays is all business. So how does this relate to you business-wise? Because here's how I look at it from the business standpoint on Wednesdays. Let's talk strategy. If Christians in the world were in the business of going and converting everybody else, and they started targeting, like Muslims may be targeting the Western ideology, what if we targeted their ideology? What city would you go after? What's the number one city when you think about Muslims? What is the number one city in the world? Think about the number one city in the world for Muslims. Where is it? Tell me the city. What do you think? I'm asking. Is it Mecca? Is it, what would you say is the number one city? Would you say, pick it, is it Mecca? Is it Saudi? Is it Tehran? Is it, where do you go to? Whatever that city is, imagine if you go and you take that city over and the leader of that city is officially a Christian. What's the likelihood of this happening?
Oh,
What's the
zero.
likelihood of a Christian capitalist taking over Mecca? What is it? You know what the likelihood is? Zero.
Right.
So check this out. Flip it. If the Islam religion comes to you and they hire you as a consultant, you are the consulting firm. You, that Inc., right? You're incorporated. We are hiring you. We want to impose our ideology on Western cities. What is the number one city for us to go to be able to share this ideology with? What do you think is the number one city on that list?
New York
New
City.
York.
New York City. Boom, we got victory. They just won. And they took over that city. Congratulations to you. Do you know, if you're a Muslim, how massive of a victory this is for them? It's massive. Here's the question. Do Americans, who the founding fathers built the greatest country in the world ever, that did in 249 years what a couple countries couldn't do in thousands of years, will they protect it? Or will they be walking on eggshells and saying, it's not a big deal, no one's going to be leaving New York City? Here's the reality. To all the people that are saying no one's leaving New York City, to all the people that saw that, what is it, Unusual Whales or whatever that account is that says 756,000 New Yorkers will definitely, keyword, are definitely moving out of New York City if Mamdani wins. This is 9% of New York City residents saying they definitely would move out of New York City if he wins. An additional 2.12 million New Yorkers said they would consider leaving should he take office. Here's the reality of it. Let's flip it. Forget about who's moving out of New York City. Here's my question for you. Who's moving to New York City? You ready? Let's talk about who it's a good climate for now. There's a video clip of him saying, why are we putting people in jail? He wants to release them. If you're a criminal, hello, I'm moving to New York City. Number two, if you're an illegal immigrant, are you kidding me? I'm moving to New York City. What if you're a Muslim? Oh my, I got Dearborn. I got a Muslim mayor in the biggest number one city in America. I'm moving to New York City. So guess what, to all the people that said nobody will leave New York City? It's about who's coming to New York City. You're welcome. And they're going to come in a bunches. You know how I know this? I would ask, why did Armenians move to Glendale? Why do Assyrians go to Torlock? Why do Assyrians go to Chicago? Why do Persians go to Beverly Hills? Because the first Armenian influencer moved to Glendale, then their families moved, then everybody else moved, then the world moved to Glendale. Because the first Assyrian influencer moved to Torlock, everybody else moved. Moved to Detroit, everybody else moved. Because the first Persian, Middle Eastern moved to Beverly Hills, everybody else moved. What do you think is going to happen right now to New York City? You
Same
voted
thing.
for this, folks. You voted for this, and you are welcome. And your population is about to increase. Everybody else saying it's going to decrease, I think it's going to go up. My opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I'm a minority owner of the Yankees. Trust me, I hope I'm wrong. But for the people that are like, how dare you say such a thing like this? And shame on you. You should not be an owner of this. No. If I lived in New York City, I would be more vocal than sitting on the sidelines saying this will never happen and not going out there rallying other people to vote. I was vocal in 2024 because I knew I didn't want Kamala. I was vocal in 2020. I risked it, even though I hadn't sold. I was vocal in 2016. We risked it. You know what it was like to talk pro-Trump in 2016? Everybody was walking on eggshells doing that. Everybody was walking on eggshells in 2020, and then nobody else was walking on eggshells in 2024. So my concern, him and I were talking earlier saying, don't you think this is what America needs? Don't you think we almost need this case study to be able to show that what works and what doesn't work? And I said, look, I get it. I went on Jubilee and I said, I hope Mamdani wins for us to come back and do this 4 years later so you can see exactly what the stats are. But here's what I will tell you. Do you think if you want your kids to know how bad drugs are, would you say, why don't you try a little bit of fentanyl, see how bad it is? Would you do that? Would you say, why don't you try a little bit of cocaine? You know what the only place is? I had a friend of mine who was so addicted to drugs, it got to a point that he was trying everything. Guess what we could do at that time? Nothing. I took him to rehab. I took him to all these other things that we would. I took him to Bible study in Pasadena. Every Friday night, I would pick him up, take him, so he's in the car with me, and I would see him go in his car and his black car, and he would take the pills, and he would take him. I would take the pill out of his hand. He's fighting me and another guy at the back of Shakers in Glendale, saying, give it back to him. I'm not giving back to you. Done. A couple months later, he dies. Young age, 27 years old. He passes away. Till today, I think about it. This guy was a phenomenal. He's a fun guy to be around. I liked him a lot. There are certain things in America you shouldn't flirt with. This is one of them. Don't ever second guess why America became the greatest country in the world. I'm an immigrant. I wasn't born here. I was born in Iran. And then I went to Germany, then I came here. There's no place like America. Nothing. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm going to do my part. I don't need to do this. I don't need another sponsor to pay my bills. I live a very good life. The only reason we're doing this and being this vocal is because I know they're not going to slow down. I know they're not. And I know America's worth it. I know the right policies are worth it. I know what we have right now as the greatest country in the world, we have to do our part. But if you think this is it, this isn't it. By the way, here's Van Jones. Watches a speech of Mamdani, and then Van Jones reacts this way. Here's what Van Jones had to say. Is this Van? Yeah, this is Van Jones. Watch this one here. Go ahead.
Scott?
Oh, are you saying he wasn't the unifying voice of a generation that you predicted mere moments ago?
Like he doesn't know what to say.
Where was the man that you predicted would not slice and dice the? Look, guys, he started his speech by quoting Eugene Debs, who ran for president of the United States 5 times as the Socialist Party of America candidate. He repeatedly attacked people in this. No, I know my socialists. I keep a close eye on them. I work here. So here's the thing. He went after everybody that he thinks is a problem. People who own things, people who have businesses. He said an interesting quote. No problem too large for government to solve.
Or too small, important.
And so when you think of the world that way, that every problem, no matter how small or how large, is something for government to do, let me just decipher this for you. Tax increases as far as the eye can see, which means the people who need to provide jobs to the young people that you say need jobs are going to flee as quickly as they possibly can. I think this was a divisive speech, and he clearly sees the world in terms of the people who are oppressing you and the oppressed. And he said the oppressed are now in City Hall.
Guy, go ahead.
Yeah, so to play devil's advocate to what you were saying, I think that potentially sometimes with the drug addicts, people who are addicted to drugs, the biggest life-changing experience could be when a near-death experience with an overdose. And I think that this is going to be an overdose moment. And I think even you said the other day that you think that a Republican's going to win the mayoral or the governor.
Yeah.
And the Republican
Tom said that first with Stefanik, so yes, we talked about it.
And I do think that that could happen because it was only a 5-point victory last time when Lee Zeldin ran against Kathy Hochul. So I do think that that could be the best case scenario.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Sincerely. Would you rather have a Republican of New York City or Republican of the state?
So governor or mayor?
Would you rather have governor or mayor?
Well, people in New York say that the mayor has much more influence over the city, but I think the governor could have more power over the city than the mayor if it got to like a power contest.
I agree, but if we were to go right now the last 40 years and ask you to list out the mayors the last 40 years, are you more likely to be able to name the last 40-year mayors or governors? Mayors. So to me, there are certain states you want governor. Mm-hmm. Florida, you want governor. Mm-hmm. Texas, you want governor. Okay? There's a lot of states you want, but there's only one state where you want the city, and that's New York City. Trust me, I'm giving Muslims this is the greatest victory they've had. This is a massive victory. Mm-hmm. I would be celebrating off the top of my lungs if I'm a Muslim and I'm an Islamist. Mm-hmm. Celebrating off the top of my lungs what they just got. I'm celebrating if I'm a socialist. I took down the city that was built on capitalism with socialism. These idiots voted for us. That's what I would be saying privately. We got these idiots. They don't understand New York City was built on capitalists. And we took it away from them. These guys have such a short memory. Don't worry. They will not be grateful for the people that built the buildings. They will not be grateful for the people that build the bridges. We're going to come in and tell them rich people are bad and they're going to side with us. Trust me, I'm going to be able to do that. And he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is such a massive, monumental victory. Why am I saying this? Pat, this is too much. Hey, man, you better wake the hell up.
It's a virus.
Only the paranoid survive.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's basically use their freedoms in our advantage. Use their open elections to our advantage. And make yourself a victim and line up with these guys over here. That's our path to victory. That's how it worked. By the way, I'm quoting the Omar playbook. They have said these things. This is not my speculations. This is what they've said. We will use their open elections against them. We will use their freedoms to walk in. And then we call out the oppressed, and the dog whistle is heard by the Democrats that will support us. And now they're turning around and looking at it. You better be careful what you're looking at, because there's a lot of things that you believe in that if they want to invoke the tenets of their laws and their systems, don't play well with a lot of Democrat positions at all. And what you don't realize is the puppy grows up and it becomes a Rottweiler, and it forgets that you raised it because that's the way it's bred.
Yeah, I'd like to get your thoughts to see, from a business perspective, I know we saw there was significant amount of people who either said they'll definitely leave or consider leaving. So people say things, they don't always follow through. What do you think realistically would be the fallout? And then, how does that affect the states that they go to? How does that affect the economy if they're the upper income earners, generators, job providers? Yep. Do they move their businesses? Do they move themselves? What do you think the real percentage is of people that actually leave?
Well, to me, it's no different than people who said, if Trump gets elected, I'm leaving the country. What percentage of people actually did that?
That's what I'm saying. That's
what
I'm saying.
Hollywood? Like 4 people?
Yeah,
no, what
that's
I'm trying to say is it's a small percentage. So when they say 756,000 is going to leave, definitely leave, what do you think is actually going to leave?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe, 5,000 people?
Maybe. What do you think? You think the number's 5,000 people?
No. It's like Hollywood. They're in Santa Monica having their lattes, quietly talking to each other that they enjoy the tax breaks.
What do you think the number is?
Of the 750?
Yeah.
I'll go with 10%. Do I think 75
That's
to
a big
100,000
number.
people?
Okay, so
yes,
Tom, just so you know,
I do.
But here's a question.
I look at realtor stats down here in South Florida. I look at the license plates. I look at what's happening. Although we're in season right now, it's hard to measure the Canadian, the New York, and the Pennsylvania plates that are informal polling measure of South Florida.
Correct.
But I believe there's 75 to 100 coming down. There's a lot of realtors that would support the fact that they're not that number, but there's a wave.
Remember the move from 2020 to 2023? There were $1 trillion of wealth left in New York just because of that.
So California.
So if it gets, I send Rob those charts if you want to show them. But if it gets worse than that, then it could be very.
What's
big.
really going to be critical is, are they the job creators and job providers?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they move their businesses down here, and now you could, it's different than things were previous to COVID, where work from anywhere was not as easy to be accomplished or is not as popular or accepted. With that being much more accepted, you can shift your business down here, and that's a big deal. Let's face it, Florida's going to have a lot more attractive tax situations. Texas, a lot more attractive tax situations. There's many states that can be more attractive than New York from a cost perspective. Maybe this is the excuse you were waiting for to move your business, to move your residents out.
You make a really good point. We don't need people just to come drop 15 on a new place in Manala plan and then have your advisor now on Worth Avenue.
Yes.
That's what we need. We need people that are going to come down here and say, wow, what a great place, and let me build down here, and let me create the jobs down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, the reality of it is it's already happened. He's in. We're going to see what's going to happen next. 2026 is around the corner. Craziness is going on. For some of you guys that have big plans for 2026, I will remind you, whatever you do not go into 2026 without a business plan. It'll be a big mistake you're making. There are way too many moving parts. Every year when we do the business planning workshop, I openly talk about what threats and events we're concerned about happening the next year. We openly share with you. Here's what we're looking at. Here's what we're seeing as possible enemy. And here's what we're seeing as an operator, the opportunities that exist for us. And we openly share it with you. We share with you how we're growing our YouTube channel and our media company, what our consulting firm is going. We're sharing our strategies with you. If you're somebody watching and saying, I'm sick and tired of playing small, I want to take my life and my business to the next level, the business planning workshop on December 12th is for you. But number two, if you're somebody that's running a business and you are already a millionaire, we have a lot of people that watch this content. You're doing 10 million a year, 100 million a year. Maybe you're doing a billion a year. You got a couple thousand employees, but you've gotten to a point where you're bored and it's repetitive and it's just kind of like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. This is a very, very good event to even wake you up as a leader of the company. So quietly, you can kind of get on the business planning workshop. It's not something that you have to be physically here, from anywhere in the world. So if you haven't yet registered yet, click on a link below. Get registered December 12th. Let's spend an entire day together. We go through a 200-page manual together, which everybody will get. Or you can go to bpw.betdavidconsulting.com. Again, bpw.betdavidconsulting.com. Looking forward to seeing you guys there on December 12th. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.